Hey everybody, welcome back to the Beeps and Bloops podcast, Season 2, Episode 3. We've got a couple of fun and interesting guests for you today, along with the usual suspects, if you will. So tonight we've got Sean, the Eep. Sean, how's it going?
Not too bad, just chilling out while the kids are away, and just playing some Yoshi's Crafted Island today, trying to get everything as I go through it.
That's a great game.
There you go.
It is
Maury?
a fun game.
Doing good. I mean, it's finally starting to be warm out. The Pennsylvania weather is starting to simmer down, so I can finally go out and do things, which is nice.
It's still pretty chilly here, but we're starting to see a little bit of spring, but it's still, sub-freezing temperatures.
That's how it is here. It's like on Thursday, it was in the 50s, and then Friday we had a snowstorm, and then Sunday it's like the 50s again. Typical Pennsylvania weather.
Yeah. And then we got SmashJT. Jeff, how's it going, brother?
Going great. I am reminded constantly on why I moved to San Diego. It's been 82 to 85 the past 4 days here. So.
Weird flex, but okay. So you've been going through some pretty crazy stuff on your channel the last couple of weeks. How's Tommy, by the way?
Right, you gotta go right there, right away, huh? No waiting, right at it.
You meant Tommy Hilfiger, the clothing line. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I
about?
love Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah,
I always want my brother's hand-me-downs. I don't know how Tommy is doing. Outside of the last conversation I had with him, which wasn't great. So yeah, that's where that's at. That's a can of worms you want to open right now. I don't know how much I can talk, but jeez.
Oh wow! I mean, we're just a bunch of gamers shooting the shit here. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but I am just wanting to point out the fact that you've been kind of doing God's work on this for a while, and it's pretty interesting to watch the reversal from you being the ultimate fanboy to the ultimate cautionary tale. And, if people want to go back and kind of really see the story of the Amico over the last couple weeks, because it's really got people curious. I think a lot of people don't really know what's going on, and you've got some pretty good insight into the situation. So I highly recommend that people do check out the last 10 or 15 videos of yours, or however many it's been. You've really been pumping them out, man. You're prolific all of a sudden.
I mean, I always say, people are like, oh, you just want to grow your channel. All you care about is fortune and fame. And I'm just like, no, I mean, that would be great. I think we'd all love, well, some people don't want it, but I think we'd all, love that. But my approach to YouTube has always been, when I have something to talk about, I'll talk about it until I'm done talking about it. And yeah. I'm not done talking about it, so I'm going to keep talking about it.
I absolutely do not believe, after years of watching you film videos in your car on the way to work and while you're out on a jog, like, you don't give a crap. You just want to put your stuff out there. You're not trying to convince anybody of anything. You're just putting your perspective out there. There's no flash, no pizzazz. It's just, here's the facts as I see them. And, I totally respect that.
Which is really funny. When I heard a critical comment against my channel yesterday, I made a video commenting on it today, that was criticizing me flexing in my hot tub trying to grow my channel. And I'm like, bro, if I want to grow my channel, I'm not going to be doing these like horrible quality videos sitting in a hot tub.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, we've got Femtrooper. Femtrooper, welcome to the show. We've been wanting to get you on all last season, and we finally managed to arrange a time that works for everybody. But you've been a friend of the channel for a long time, and we're glad to have you here.
Yay, thanks. Thanks for having me on. I mean, everything's good here. We're talking about the weather. It was gorgeous today here, so I know it's always crappy in the east. It seems to be like that. But
yeah.
What part of the east are you on?
Oh, I'm in the West. It's really nice here.
Oh. I was gonna say, you got the California shirt on, so I was like,
I
was very confused.
I'm not that West, but yeah. But it's good.
You're in Alberta, right?
I am in Calgary, yeah.
It's funny. The weather. I spent quite a bit of time in Edmonton, and the weather in Calgary and the weather in Edmonton are like polar opposites.
Oh, I know.
It's crazy.
It's
Like
freezing
Calgary
there
and
then nice
you know,
here.
with your Chinooks and stuff,
Yep.
it can be like 15 degrees
Yep.
in the middle of the winter.
Yep.
Edmonton, it's like minus 40 for like 8 months.
I know.
Can I ask a Canadian question?
Yes.
Who here has heard of Edmundston?
Edmundston?
Yes.
No.
No, it's on the border of Madawaska and Edmundston, in the tip top of Maine.
Oh, okay.
So I had a friend. I went to college in Maine, so I would often go, because I was not 21 at the time. We would often take 7-hour drives to legally drink, and we would go across Madawaska to Edmundston, not Edmonton. And I have some very interesting Edmundston stories that were for off the air.
Nice.
So now that everybody's introduced and we've all had a chance to say hi, the topic for tonight is going to be a little bit more relaxed. We want to just hang out, have a good time. We're going to talk a little bit tonight about just some recent games that we've picked up, some recent videos that we've made, things that we're looking forward to in 22 in terms of game releases. We recently just got news that it looks like there will be an E3 coming up this summer, so that's kind of something to look forward to in the next 3 or 4 months. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of relax and enjoy each other's company. So before we get too far into who actually brought some pickups to show today. Oh, fantastic.
I mean, they're behind me.
More talking
I can
about?
talk
Yeah.
about them.
So who wants to go first? Pori, you were talking about a DS game that you picked up recently. Fill us
I
in
wasn't
on
seriously
that.
going to show that, but I mean, if you want me to, I got
Quit.
this hidden gem on the Nintendo DS. Julie Finds a Way. I'm sure it's a banger.
Have you played it yet?
No, I haven't played it yet. I think it's like a really crappy simulation game or something. I don't know. It was $1 at the thrift store, so it's like, yeah.
I mean,
I'll
it
get
looks
that for $1.
looks like it would be something like a Hannah Montana game or something of that sort, just by looking at the cover.
According to this, you journey with Julie as she tries out for the basketball team, saves a family of endangered bald eagles, and crosses the country in a covered wagon. I have no idea. It's like the more you read the back of the box, the more confusing it
The
gets.
DS library has just got some crazy stuff. It's such a huge library. You know, it's a really interesting system to collect for.
Yeah.
I recently, don't tell Kaz, but I recently traded in my 2 Pokemon games that I had on the Switch, Arceus and Pokemon Snap, and picked up Elden Ring today. I've got it installed, and I'm terrified to start, but that's what I'll be doing after the podcast. We'll let people know on Twitter over the next couple of days whether I'm ready to tear my hair out or not.
Yeah.
Looks like the kids are home, Sean.
Yes,
Hello.
Being fairly quiet. Hey, want to say hello? Unfortunately, comes to
All right.
apparently.
So,
Yes. Okay.
hey guys.
Hey.
Shoo. Go follow them.
So, looking forward to, we had a pretty good couple of events in the last month or so. We had a Nintendo Direct, which reviewed a lot of really cool stuff that I'm pretty excited about. And then we had that State of Play, which I think most people were pretty lukewarm on the State of Play. There wasn't anything real exciting in there for me, other than that Turtles announcement, which, I mean, that was out of left field. I'm super excited for that Turtles game. Don't know whether I'm going to pick it up physically or not, because I'm kind of mostly digital.
Wait, it's coming out physically?
Yeah, it's coming out physically, and it's $40.
Okay.
$40 US anyway. It'll be like probably 59 or something Canadian, but yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. Apparently, they only listed out 8 or 9 games in the trailer, but there's actually going to be 13 games, whether they're like variants or something like that. But that's quite a value, like for a less than full priced game to have 13 games on it. I'm pretty excited for that.
They're all good too. It's not like some compilations where you get some 5 really great ones and some games that are low quality. They're all top notch. Even the Game Boy ones are good.
Yeah, it's been a while since we got like a solid compilation of like everything. It's been a long time.
It seems like all we ever get from Konami now are these compilations, but thankfully they're pretty good. I mean, the Castlevania and
I'm not complaining.
Advanced collections, those were real good too. They had some great like menu options and history, museum type stuff, and they've been kind of banging out the old retro stuff.
Yeah.
So Paige, what have you picked up recently?
Ooh. Well, it was my birthday in February, so I got a bunch of stuff. Yeah. I mean, I don't have them in front of me. They're back there somewhere. But I did get a bunch of stuff. And in February, I picked up that Sonic Mania Switch collection that comes with the Sonic Team Racing for Switch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I got that. And I got this Spider-Man Miles Morales for PS4. And I got Pokemon Arceus.
Have you played Spider-Man yet?
Not yet. It's like hopefully the next couple of months.
I'll tell you, once you put it in, you will not be able to play anything else until you're done. It's a really good game.
I loved Spider-Man on PS4, so I'm like, I was waiting to get it on PS5, and then I'm like, no, I'm just gonna do it because or else I'll just never play it. I got the Guardians of the Galaxy on PS4,
Yeah, I want to try that too.
Yeah,
I want to try that too.
Yeah, it looks really good, and I've only heard good things. And then I got the Blue Reflection Second Light for Switch, which I'm stoked for in a weird way.
I remember you being kind of on the fence about that game, you know, watching on Twitter.
Because the first one is weird. It's like there's something really great about it, but it's also kind of mediocre. So I don't know. I just caved in. I said, no, I want to get it. And then I remember picking up Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for Switch, which I have on Wii U and I've beat, but I don't know. It's been so long. I feel like it'll almost feel like a new game at this point because I just want a new Donkey Kong game, and we're not getting one apparently anytime soon. I don't know. So I hope so. But and I got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on Switch. And I picked up Shantae and the Seven Sirens on Switch in February. So that was everything for Switch.
That's quite a birthday stash you've got there. You know, it's interesting. Those dual packs, like what you're talking about with the Sonic and the Sonic Team Racing, historically, games like that on other systems have ended up being really rare and valuable. So hang on to that.
Know.
Like it can be the weirdest thing, but when they put 2 games on one cartridge with, you know, special artwork like that, those things really end up going up in value. I can think of a few on like the GameCube and stuff that are just basic, like who cares games like Super Monkey Ball and something else, and it's worth like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, who knows?
Just because of the packaging variant.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I got a bunch. So I try and be really good about my backlog, but February was kind of out of control. But that's okay.
I'm terrible with mine.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you haven't played that yet?
No, and the only reason I picked it up because I don't know, I've had this like sort of like fear of missing out thing with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because I love the first one. It's so good, and that's a game I have.
I still haven't even
never
opened this yet, by the way.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I've got this vibe that I was not gonna like it. I don't know why. I've had this weird vibe, and then I've asked on Twitter like over the last like 3 years, I always randomly ask and I get 50-50. Some people are like, you're gonna hate that, and some people are like, no, it's the best. I loved it so much, and I'm like, whatever. So then one friend had said, oh, you know, just buy it if you see it cheap, and it's like you're never gonna find that cheap. But at my local used video game, like independent video game store, they had it cart only, and I never buy Switch games cart only, but I decided to order a Switch case off eBay and then print the cover out because I don't care. Yeah. So I did that, and I got it for really cheap. So I was like, okay, I'll try it now. Now, if I hate it, I won't care. I didn't.
And if you do like it, keep an eye out for the second cartridge, which is the DLC, was actually in physical form.
Oh, Torna, right?
Yeah, something like that. I got that.
Can we explain that? Because that always confused the hell out of me. That Torno was that. Can you play it on its own? Do you have to play the second one?
No, apparently it's a prequel to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I've heard you can just play that. and then play
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I'll tell you, the marketing for that was so botched. I'm like, I didn't even know what this is.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not touching it.
It is basically a fully fledged game in the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 universe. You can play it on its own, but it is DLC, which you can download if you want to download it as DLC for the game. You can do that too, but the physical copy is playable as a separate, albeit shorter game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But why would you play that without playing the other one first, I guess, too? So
Yeah, pretty much.
that makes sense. But it's crazy that even exists with such, I don't want to say a niche like player base, but in the grand scheme of back when it was made, what was it, Wii U, and then ported to Switch? That's
No, Xenoblade 2 is strictly Switch.
Yeah, it's Switch.
It was an early Switch title.
an early
Yeah,
Switch game.
yeah,
Okay,
because
so
it came out the same year that Switch came out.
that's even more niche then. That's just crazy. That like that's why I love Nintendo. They'll do something crazy like that. Put all this effort into like a niche follow up of a game where it's like, I just wish.
But where's my Chibi Robo, man?
Oh,
Right?
God. Yeah. Well then, yeah.
Well, mine's with my GameCube, but where's my new one?
I watched a really good Scott the Woz on Chibi Robo. I'm sure we've all
Yeah,
seen
right.
it. But I
Magnum
think
Opus.
he was right. I think he was right with the what was that
Absolutely.
DS where he's like that's ruined the series. They're like
Park Patrol, I think it's called on the DS.
yeah, and they like
the
half-assed
3DS one was the one that just kicked us in the face because it's that Ziplash. I mean, it's good on its own, but it's like it's not what we
But
want.
it's not
It's just
a Chibi Robo game. Yeah.
no, it's just
It's the only one I played.
There was a twin
I
like
actually
that.
really enjoyed Ziplash, but I had never at that point played any other games in the series.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I
That's
forgot-
how I played
Still-
Xenoblade Chronicles on the.
By the way, still sealed.
Nice.
Welcome to
is it
having two
rare?
kids,
I don't
right?
know.
I don't know, but I'm not going to open it until I'm definitely going to play it, and I don't know if I'm ever going to play it. That's the problem.
I can say, having played all three, I tried so hard to love that game, and I'm going to try again, but I have played it on the Wii, I've played it on the 3DS, and it is definitely much superior on the Switch.
Oh yeah.
The Switch is definitely the definitive version.
By the
definitive
way,
way to play it.
I could make a whole video on this, and I actually might. This is a great topic on conversation, where I'm kind of hamstrung by buying it on an older console, and it's sealed, and I'm like, but people are saying it's better on a newer console, so now I'm gonna buy it again, and what do I even have that for?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right? I have it twice. On the Wii and the 3DS. Why would I want? Like, how much better is a Switch version for me to drop tens of dollars on it?
But I
Graphically speaking, it's enormously better.
Well, yes, that's true.
And just from a
quality of life
playability
changes.
standpoint, your HUD, your display on the 3DS takes up so much space on the screen.
Yeah, well, that's true.
You're so much
That
better off,
I just,
with the higher resolution and stuff.
I haven't.
I'm
touched my
good with this
3DS in a long time.
The thing with 3DS is when it's in 3D, it does help mitigate that. You can change the size of the view, so depending on what part of the game, you just change how it looks. But it's more of a chore. I might have to start on the Wii U or the Wii, but who knows?
Oh, well,
Ori, have you got anything interesting that you've been playing recently or that you picked up? That
I did pick up something very interesting. I actually got a new retro console.
oh,
I haven't bought a lot of games lately because like resellers are maniacs and overcharge for games like crazy. So I haven't really bought anything new. But I went to a convention, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, and for the most part, everything was like kind of like out of my price range. It was like it was mostly toy vendors. But then I went up and there was like this guy. He had a little game stand in the corner, and like the first thing me and my friend see is like a Sega Nomad, and he won like $500 for it or something. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's way too much. So we actually skipped his booth at first, and we went back around, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna look at this guy's booth anyway, and I scored myself a Fairchild Channel F for like a really good deal. So I'm very
That would be
happy.
nice
Yeah,
to have.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is that?
The very first console to use cartridges.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a real good piece of history.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it's the very first console to ever use cartridges. So
Yeah.
Interchangeable cartridges, yeah.
thing looks like an end boss.
Special.
That is huge.
Yeah, it's it got 7 games with it.
Everything before the Channel F had, you know, one built-in game, like a Pong clone console, or maybe 3 or 4 different versions of Pong built in. But that was it's actually quite an interesting story. I believe the Gaming Historian did the story of the guy that invented the interchangeable cartridges and led into all that. Look back in the Gaming Historian's stuff. I'm pretty sure it's there. It was an interesting video.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah,
I've been kind of in the middle of a bit of a controversy. I am a huge Gran Turismo fan. I've played every single Gran Turismo game to completion, except maybe a couple of the endurance races, because, screw those. But I recently picked up the Anniversary Edition, Gran Turismo 7, on the PS5. I had this thing pre-ordered and paid for weeks before it came out. I was so excited for this game. And, there's some controversy about this game right now. A couple of different controversies running about this game. Let me just say right off the top, I am enjoying my time with this game. I really do like this game. But there is some there's some issues here. First of all, there's microtransactions, like a lot of nasty microtransactions in this game.
Hate that.
You don't need to, they don't. It's not exactly predatory. I mean, some people are saying they're predatory just because they're popping up with reminders that you can top up your account and stuff. I've been playing it since launch day, and I've never once felt the need to actually spend money. But with Gran Turismo Sport on the PS4, they did have some microtransactions, but things were cheap. Like, you could buy a supercar for $5. The way they've got the economy set up in this game, if you want a $3 million car, you have to basically purchase 4 million credits from the, with real money, and that's going to cost you about $40, to do, because 2 million credits is like $20 or however it works. It's like you're going to end up spending $30 to $40 on one car in this game, which seems ridiculously out of whack. But people are doing it. I know even RGT85 made a video recently talking about how he spent some real money because he was just in a hurry to get a certain car. And, I haven't done that yet because I'm pretty used to following the process of actually earning my way through a game in Gran Turismo. I really don't see the need to do that. It's not that hard to make money. If you spam the right races, you can make money pretty quickly. But the other controversy with this game, quite frankly, is the way it looks. And
you said hold on real quick. You said the other. There's actually a third controversy.
Oh,
what do you got?
I haven't played it yet. But the always online mode is a huge turnoff as well, correct?
That is a problem for some people. I mean, we've been heading that way even most of last generation. Like, Gran Turismo Sport does not work really offline because it's mostly an online multiplayer game. It does have a single player component, but what you can do with the game is pretty limited offline. That doesn't really bother me, but for some folks who live in the middle of nowhere and have bad internet, that can definitely be a problem.
Well, I mean, I don't live in the middle of nowhere, and as you saw before we started, my internet can be a little on the fritz. And there was somebody that was supposed to be a part of this that couldn't join because their internet is on the fritz. And it's like, that's not gaming when you have to worry about that extra factor. When you outside of you, Aaron, I am probably the biggest Gran Turismo fan out there. And I have not bought the new Gran Turismo because of what you're saying right now. And I'm totally turned off. I'm so turned off. Like, maybe I'm an old man right now, but I'm like, the Gran Turismo back in my day was, you worked your ass off to get those cars. Yeah. You worked your ass off to progress. You didn't buy stuff to get there.
Well, you can do that now too, because you get a few $1,000s per race, and that's early on too. So I think as the game goes on, I think it's a shortcut.
Yeah, but the fact that other people can shortcut it kind of devalues your time with it. It's like, I could just first class my way through this. Then what's the point?
Yeah,
it doesn't
I know what you
devalue it for
mean.
me because I'm a solo gamer anyway, so those other people don't mean anything to me. I didn't
But
think
Yeah.
it was
can you play online against people though?
You
Yes,
can, but I
and
don't
see that's
generally.
kind of a problem because anybody with deep pockets can just
That's what I'm
spend
saying.
their way to the
You
finish
can just
line.
buy the best car ever and just win all the time. Like,
I mean, the way
There's
the online matches
limitations
are
to what you use in a race, though.
yeah, the online matches are set up so that you have to have cars with certain qualifications, something called a PP or power points.
Gotcha.
So, somebody with a $3 million
can't really
car
use
is not going to be racing against somebody with a $100,000 car unless that $100,000 car has been souped up like crazy or something. But there is like scaling in the multiplayer, so that does help.
I just think
There's
it's kind
also
of
a nice
funny. Oh, go ahead.
There's a nice metric too where Gran Turismo 7 focuses on clean racing. Because you know how you play. I'm sure if you're a good Gran Turismo player, you'll just bump into the other computer player cars and just go around the corners easier.
Mhm.
They track that now, and they mark that of like what kind of racer you are, and by how you hit other cars or go off track, and they kind of match you that way too. So
Wait, hold up,
it's really nice.
There's a different way to play Gran Turismo.
I know.
I
It's
was
new
always
to
full
me.
speed aiming for those cars as bumpers.
Right?
I played Gran Turismo Sport every day for 2 weeks before Gran Turismo 7 launched, just to kind of brush up on my skills, and they were doing that in Gran Turismo Sport as well. Basically, when they introduced the online multiplayer in Sport, they wanted to encourage people to have good driving habits and good sportsmanship, so you actually get sportsmanship points for clean driving and not bumping into people or cutting them off or whatever. So I kind of like what they're doing there. The other really big thing with this game, though, is the graphics, man. Like, I got a PS5. I don't want to play a PS3 game. Like, in some ways, aside from the raw resolution, which is obviously better, Gran Turismo 6 on the PS3, in a lot of ways, looks more realistic. When you're in the menus are 4K. When you're in, they have this thing called the cafe, which basically feeds you missions and things like that and gives you backstory about the cars and the history of the cars. And when you're in there, the graphics are beautiful. They're 4K HDR, but they're basically static images. As soon as you get out onto the racetrack, things, and I've been talking back and forth with Rich Review Tech because he's on a rant about this, and he's getting a lot of backlash from Sony fans for just stating the truth. This game looks like a remastered PS3 game when you're actually on the track. The pavement is like light gray everywhere. It just looks like a Lego or a Hot Wheels track or something. There's no real deflections in the track. There's no oil stains. There's no potholes.
Aaron, can I hop in real quick?
Clean.
Just on a grander scale, I think you're speaking to a much bigger concern with the entire video game industry right now. Like, I have a PS5 as well, and truth be told, I can tell a difference, but it is challenging. And I'm like, we're at that point where I'm like, maybe we peaked. Have we peaked?
Oh, I've always been thinking about that.
No, I don't think so, and I'll tell you why.
awesome,
Because there are other experiences on the PS5 that have blown my mind. PS4 game, Death Stranding Director's Cut on the PS5. Sure, it's been upscaled, optimized for the PS5, but it's a PS4 game, and it looks incredible. Like, absolutely incredible. I've never seen any video game be so realistic, so
Final
deep, so crisp.
Final Fantasy 7 Remake, too, is another one that got upscaled.
Oh, it looks gorgeous, too, but it's more of an art style, right? Like, Death
Right.
Stranding is meant to be super realistic, and holy crap, it's so realistic. Like, it's unbelievable.
I feel like consoles are like phones right now, where it's like when you went from like a flip phone to like an iPhone or something, it was like outrageous. Like, it was like insane. Like, the difference was even going from like a black and white or like a blue screen to like a color flip phone. It was like, whoa. It felt like every time you got a new phone, it was like this crazy new thing. And it was like that with video games. I feel like, you go from like a Super Nintendo to an N64. It was like mind blowing. And then all of a sudden, PS2 and GameCube come out, and it's like it's way better. Now I feel like it's not that we maybe necessarily peaked, but I mean, the differences, we're not it's not the same anymore. It's not like PS2 to PS3.
But that's what I mean when I say
just
have
not.
we peaked. When I say have we peaked, I mean, yes, I agree. We all agree it's better, but
Yeah.
what's next gen gonna bring? Like, what more could it be?
It's just like every time we get it, it's a little better. It runs faster.
Well,
it's
that's
obviously, but it's just not
I would
the
jump
same
in-
drastic.
I would jump in and say the PS5 is infinitely worth buying for the sake of speed. Like, it's so fast. It's so fast. Like, loading up save points and loading up when you die and stuff. Like, and when you fast trans to everything, like, it's like everything is like lightning. That's amazing. But the graphics are not as big of a leap as the load time speeds. Like, the load time are another world right now. It's great. Like, that's something no one talks about. That's the best part about the PS5 is the load times.
Yeah, I have a few PS5 exclusives. I've got Gran Turismo, I've got Ratchet and Clank, I've got Final Fantasy, and some of them look pretty darn good. I haven't picked up Forbidden West yet, and some of them look pretty darn good, but it's really like shades better than the PS4. Like, some of the best looking games I have right now are PS4 games being played on the PS5. What's that, Corey?
Oh, it's a Fairchild Channel F game.
Oh, yeah.
I can't compete with that, Pori. Come on.
Yeah, that's the real advanced console.
I mean, I bring a brand new machine gun to the fight. You bring like an old machete that will just slice anything. Come on.
So, Paige, you've been documenting your journey of playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. I've been super interested in the Yakuza series, but tell me what's so great about that game.
Okay, you know that I like Dragon Quest and I like Earthbound and I like that format. Yeah. And I feel like it's the closest thing you'll get to that, if that makes any sense, unless you're playing an actual like Dragon Quest game. Because there's something about the vibe and the feeling of it and the way that you like the gameplay and the battle system. I feel like it's closer to those kind of games. And so for me, I love it. It's like the whole series as a whole, like Yakuza, whatever you want to say, is like so ridiculous. It's outrageous. Like, if you've played them, they're so out there and so Japanese, you can't even like. I don't know. I love them because they get so serious and dark, and then the dumbest thing will happen, and you just have to play it to know what I'm talking about. But it'll be like, like you'll be like, someone will like die, and it's like crazy, and someone gets shot, and then all of a sudden there'll be like a grown man in a diaper. It's just weird. It's just really strange and odd. And so this new one, the newest one, is actually turn-based, so it's different because they're usually beat 'em ups. But that's kind of the only thing they changed. Everything else is very similar. It's the same kind of humor and a new character. It's always been the same guy, so now it's kind of neat to get a new cast. But I'm loving it. I'm close to the end. I'm like at the last probably 20-25% of it, so it's very good. It's very
so good. I don't have it here. It wasn't on the games that I pulled out to talk about today, but I wanted to start my journey just from you talking so much about the Yakuza series. I wanted to start my journey, so I figured the best place to start was Yakuza 0, so I picked that up pretty cheap.
That's how I started.
And I'm going to be starting it soon, but I ended up picking up Judgment as well.
And I have that, and I still haven't played it.
I was pretty curious about that, so I actually started playing that, and I got to say, I love the combat.
Oh, good. Okay, it looks really cool.
It's really fun, and the story is interesting. The graphics are interesting. I really like that Sega style. But I think what I'm most interested in with the series is the depth that they go to in the worlds that they build. Stuff being able to play other Sega games in an arcade in the game. Stuff like that is really cool. Or being able to go into a store and purchase something off a shelf that's like some weird Japanese product, or things like that. I really like the idea of these worlds being built out. So I'm looking forward to checking that out for sure.
Yeah, 0 is so good. It's a great way to start because it's like a prequel to the original one, and it's like just you might as well start there, and it's all in the 80s in Japan, and it is very, very fun. You'll like it. I loved it. Got me hooked.
You were showing, what was that you were showing, Pori? Like a Game Boy Color or something, or what did you have there?
I think it was a cartridge for the Fairchild. Whoa.
Your audio's off, Pori.
Oh, sorry. It was another Fairchild Channel F game. Yeah.
Oh, okay. From the back, it looked kind of like a Game Boy Color or something.
Yeah.
I thought it was only in Game Boy too. I was like, what?
It does.
That's those things are huge, eh?
They're still not as cool as Pico cartridges.
And what is there, like 1 kilobyte of data on that thing or something?
Are there actual light bulbs on the board?
The vacuum tubes, right?
Yeah, vacuum tubes. There we go.
Sean, it's quite the glass you've got there.
I love that.
Dr. Pepper.
Nice.
So you said you didn't have much in the way of things that you picked up recently, but what are you playing?
Well, I'm playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's my first real attempt at playing Animal Crossings. I played the original. I tried playing the original before, but I never understood how do I play it, so I got bored real fast. So after you gushed about it so much, I'm giving this one a chance. But the real key is I'm playing it with my family because we're all on the same island, so it all feels like we're working together, which we don't do anything together. So that's kind of a nice thing.
Yeah,
I did pick up a couple games. Lords of the Fallen, Need for Speed Heat, Atari Flashbacks, Metroid Dread, Mario Party Superstars, and some really heavy hitters like DDR Hottest Party 2 on the Wii, and Big Brain Academy.
I kind of wanted to pick that up.
Big Brain Academy?
Yeah.
The Wii one?
The Switch one, whatever that is.
Yeah, there's a new one coming out.
There's one on the Switch?
Yeah, there's a Switch
There's a new one
one
coming.
Wow.
I don't remember what it's called.
Tell me a little bit about, you beat Metroid Dread, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your experience with Metroid Dread, because I haven't finished it yet, but it's on my list for sure.
It's really fun. Every step of the way is rewarding. It does kind of guide you every step of the way, and it's not really as hard as a lot of people say it is. Learning a boss's patterns can take a couple tries, but it's not hard once you know it. Because there's some games where once you know the pattern, it's still challenging to get the timing down, but not this. Once you know what to expect and know what to do there, it's very easy to pull it off. And yeah, the game guides you the whole way through. The whole stealth Emmy sections, they're just kind of a nuisance more than actual challenge. So, but otherwise, the game is always rewarding you, always pushing you forward, and it was a really good time. And it sparked me to try to see if I could love the first Metroid, which I don't. I hated it when I rented it as a kid. I hate it when I beat it 10 years ago using Nintendo Power, and I hate it. I don't like it now. I don't hate it, but I
have you played Have you played Zero Mission, or are you playing the NES version?
NES, that's the first. That's what I want to stick with first.
Okay.
But it's one of those rare situations where if I were to recommend to somebody, I might say Zero Mission just because the first game is.
It seems like there's a lot of quality of life improvements.
Oh yeah, for sure, a lot, and that's the case with a lot of remakes. But I always say play the original because it's usually good. That's why it got a remake. But the first one's not good. It's got a lot of bad design choices, and it's just not tremendously fun. But it can be. I mean, if someone plays it, it can be really fun.
Can I jump in here because I'm quite
Yes, go for it.
I'm quite the Metroid guy. So I will say the first one is definitely quirky with a lot of odd design choices, which is in a weird back-ass way why I like it is because it's not as organized and thought out. There's a lot of just incongruency and it just doesn't make sense, and it really feels like you're genuinely exploring some place that who knows what is here. And I mean, obviously, what's that?
I'm okay with that. It's the reused assets and rooms. It's like I'm exploring through things, and I'm seeing the same room layout over and over again. I'm like, what room am I in?
My second part of that, I was going to say, my love for it is heavily based in nostalgia. So with the reality and play with that, I would say Zero Mission This is a weird thing because for the longest time I thought Zero Mission was my favorite Metroid, especially with the updates and the extras that they put into it. No spoilers, but it is a banger. And then I streamed Super Metroid and loved it. Played Metroid Dread, loved it. Played Metroid Dread on hard mode, beat it, loved it. And then tried to stream Zero Mission, and it was awkward. I'm like, oh man, you forget about all the new updates that make it so much easier. Just the aiming system is just, it's so hard. Like, and I'm like, nostalgically, Zero Mission will always be my favorite, but in the moment, I can see why people say Super Metroid's the best, and Dread gives it a run for its money. They're both so freaking good. They're both so good.
Yeah, Super Metroid, that gives you the feel of exploration. Dread really doesn't. You can explore, but it gives you more missiles. But even the last boss, you don't need to have more than your basic missiles because it keeps refilling it for you.
And I will say with Dread 2, something that I had like such a noob moment with it. Like, I agree. I think your assessment for Dread was spot on. It guides you the whole way. But I was kind of playing it with the mentality of exploring. And so I wanted to explore it. I didn't want to just go through how it was guiding me. And that actually got me lost in the huge world. And then I didn't know where to go next. And I'm like, if I had just kind of followed the guiding system of it, I think I would have been perfectly fine. But the way I played it with the exploring, it actually made it a worse experience because I didn't know what to do next after I started exploring, and I tried to get back to the main storyline. I'm like, where the hell was I? What was I doing? How do I get to the next part? And then I played it through again on hard mode, not exploring, just going through the guided system, and it was a lot more of an enjoyable experience. But ironically, it was not exploring, which is what Metroid's all about. So it's kind of funny.
And
it's
also,
a catch-22.
And they don't, and even when you're exploring, the map is so overly helpful that you're not really exploring either. You're just like, okay, so it tells you what every block is on the map. Like, okay, so in this room there is this special kind of block that you can destroy with that weapon. So even when you're going back exploring, you're just basically looking at the map and just following the dot to get to where you want to go, like any open world game these days. So
I feel like
a fun ride, but it's not an exploring.
I feel like it's one of those games I think we can all relate because we're all old enough. No offense to anyone here, but we can look. What's that?
We're all ancient,
yeah. I think we can look back when we had a time in our lives where we didn't have many games. We'd have one or two games the whole year, or maybe three, maybe, and I feel like it was easier to get enveloped in the world because you knew it's all you had to play. And now games are more like disposable instead of I'm gonna, you know what I mean? So I feel like Dread really needed that map because it was so overwhelming without it. But back in the day, like if all things being equal, technology existed back when we were kids, but we still only got 3 games a year. And Dread came out. If they just came out with no map system on Dread, it wouldn't have bothered me because I would have been so enveloped with the world that I would have tried to remember everything and where to go with everything. And I think that would have made the experience so much better. But times have changed.
People don't have that kind of time to invest anymore.
Right.
Well, the old maps, there was maps there, like on Super Metroid. And what I liked about it was the map would have borders on the rooms, but there wouldn't be a border if there's more room to explore. So you always knew if there was somewhere else to go. And all the stuff that was hidden in a wall was something superfluous, like an extra missile or something. It was never important to your game. So you always had to, if you just studied the map, like, okay, oh, look, I haven't gone that way yet. Let me go check that out. And there was always that. You knew there was something there, but you got to explore. This one's like, oh, hey, go there, use this item, go hard. And it's 2 shakes away from pulling a Super Kong and doing it for you. Yeah. It's just, I'm like, but that doesn't matter. The game to me feels like it just wants you to go on a wild ride, and it gives you a wild ride. And if you want to explore a little bit, there's some of that too. And in the end, I'm not going to grudge the game for it. It's just
Oh,
a
no,
little different.
exactly. I mean, if you're going to be knocking Dread, you're going to be nitpicking. I don't mean to be like too harsh on it. I'm just, I guess I'm just harkening back to the good old days. That's all.
Yeah.
Right, ladies and gents, we have hit the midway point of the show, so we're going to take a little break here for 5 minutes and, take the chance to refresh yourself or whatever you need to do, and we'll reconvene in just a couple of minutes. Nerd Grave. And we're back. Thanks so much for sticking around, guys. We are going to move the conversation towards a few other things here. We've pretty much covered most of the pickups. I had one game here that I'm pretty excited that I wanted to talk about, and I also wanted to step back to the Gran Turismo 7 conversation briefly. We went off on a rabbit trail there, and I didn't really get to talk about the graphics, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, Catherine Full Body. This is one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely love how creative and it's a really interesting game. And I've bought this game like 6 times. I had it on the Xbox 360 before it was Full Body. It was just Catherine. I bought it on the Switch, enjoyed it on the Switch, and then I traded the Switch copy to get the PS4 Steelbook, and then I traded the PS4 Steelbook to get this big box edition here. And this is really cool because it's got a beautiful art book and it's got a sheep stuffy and stuff like that in it. But I can't get enough of this game. I can't beat it. It's super hard, but just going back, it's one of those games that's infinitely replayable to me because of the puzzle nature of it. It drives you to kind of keep trying for another level and another level and another level. The story in it is really cool, and I absolutely love the art style. Being an Atlas game, I don't know, there's something about this game that just keeps drawing me in. Absolutely, you can pick these up pretty cheap. For those of you out there that haven't tried this game, I would highly recommend it. It's available on most platforms, I think. And I just wanted to promote one of my favorite games. I guess I'm allowed to do that. It is my show.
Yeah, you tell me.
I'll say, while we're talking about Catherine, I'll say I was intrigued because I heard a lot of people talking about it for a very long time before I actually picked it up. It was one of those games that I went into blind. I had no idea what I was getting. I thought it was like a porno game. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell this is.
Wait, it's not?
The skin? No, it's not.
I legit don't know what kind of game it is even.
It's a puzzle game. It's a puzzle game that reminds me a lot of, if you guys remember the old game on the PS1 called Intelligence Cube.
Oh, okay.
It kind of reminds me of that one. I mean, obviously not a one-for-one comparison, but that was the same kind of vibes that I got from it. It was one of those games. There was nothing close to my expectations. Not to mean it was bad. It was just I was like, whoa, oh, it's this kind of game. Okay.
So what's really cool about it is the whole game happens in this nightmare world. Your main character is at a place in his relationship with his girlfriend where they're considering marriage, and he's not necessarily really comfortable with that. He meets another girl who is also named Catherine, and he ends up having some dalliances with her, and she makes him reconsider wanting to get married. And then he becomes guilty because he's kind of messing around with this other Catherine, and he starts having bad dreams that the girl that's supposed to be his wife, is like haunting his dreams. And the whole gameplay loop is that you're stuck at the bottom of this kind of tower, and you have to work your way up level by level by completing these puzzles of like moving blocks around to climb higher and higher. And this like demon version of your girlfriend is chasing you from the bottom with flames and stuff. And if you don't climb fast enough, you get caught by her. And so it's like this whole psychological conversation about dating and relationships and marriage, really cleverly wrapped into a puzzle game, and I just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, you're making
it's
me
much more than that.
Up.
It's a supernatural story. Like, without giving too much away, he never actually met that other Catherine. It's a demon that's trying to entrap, and it's not just him. Every male basically in the area is being attacked by her.
There is that whole element to it as
and then
well.
You're having this whole social. It's not a dating sim because you're hanging out with your friends, but it's basically a friendship sim in the bar where you talk to other people and you learn more about what's actually happening. There's stories on the news about people who are waking up dead in their beds, and those are the people who don't climb up the tower fast enough. Like, it's a lot more interesting than just having,
it pulls a lot of elements from the Persona series in ways as well.
It's the same artist, right? Because it looks
the similar art style and a lot of those kind of social elements and things like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's part of that whole universe, because there's a lot of similarities too. I don't know if it is, but I wouldn't be surprised. Just like Persona's part of the Shin Megami, this might be part of that whole thing too.
I think it is. I think I remember looking it up once, but I'm not an expert on that, so I don't know.
And I can't remember either. Nothing was concrete that I found, but people know more about it than I do.
Yeah,
I did finish it, but I brute forced my way through it because I'm not that smart. But I managed to find a couple techniques for the block pushing to get me through the game. I'm like, and I should play it again, but
So what's everybody been playing lately? I want to talk a little bit about what is exciting us coming up and talk a little bit about some of the games we've been playing and enjoying as well, kind of mixed in there. So I know for me, I've been completely consumed by Gran Turismo 7, despite the problems that we mentioned with it. It is still a fantastic game. The graphics are really an issue. Like, they're really disappointing. Like, when you look at things like trees, like as they zoom in on the racetrack and you're looking at the trees and stuff, I mean, I've seen better graphics in a Story of Seasons game. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, the trees look fake. The track looks pretty fake. Like, there's no details to the tracks and stuff like that. But the game is fantastic. There's kind of an RPG mechanic built into this game that wasn't present in previous games, that gives you a real progression where you're leveling up. You've got like collector points that allow you to level up your collection, and they give you missions to acquire certain cars by doing certain races. And so there's a lot to really recommend the game. And I am having a ton of fun with it. I've been playing a couple hours a day. Sean and I did play a little bit of multiplayer online. Between our two poor internet services, it wasn't perfect, but it was definitely playable. I don't think either one of us got sportsmanship points, because I think you knocked me off the track once and I knocked you off the track once, and I don't think either one of us intended to do it. I think it was kind of an internet issue.
About graphics and Grand,
You've just lost your audio.
Yeah, you.
All right. Well, we'll move on from Sean because he's now miming. All right, so let's talk about some things that we're excited for coming out between the last couple of events that we've had and E3 coming on in a couple of months. What are we excited for? I know I'm pretty curious about Ghostwire Tokyo. I've been seeing some reviews pop up for that game. Happy Console Gamer did a first thoughts on it, and he was kind of a mixed bag on it. Out of the state of play, we've seen it presented a couple of times, and I'm kind of curious about it because I like that modern day Tokyo sort of a setting. I think that's pretty cool, and the kind of magic system I think is kind of neat. I'm curious about it. I don't know whether I'm going to buy it at launch or wait for maybe a price drop, because I have a feeling this game's going to drop in price pretty quick. I don't know. Have you guys looked into Ghostwire Tokyo at all?
No, just being honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't either. I
should.
Full disclosure for me, I didn't even watch the state of play, and that's kind of I'm a victim of circumstance. I feel like I'm so backed up with gaming, the ultimate gamer problem, so many games to play, that I didn't even want to watch it because I'm like, I'm already inundated with current titles that I can't keep up with. And titles in the future that are coming that I know I'm definitely going to buy. that when the state of play got announced, I'm just like, okay, I'll not even care unless someone says there's something crazy I need to see from it. And the only thing I heard was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I was like, that's awesome, cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't see anything else from it.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that Dinosaur by game by Capcom?
Why the one where everyone assumed Dino Crisis and not?
I almost
come on, Capcom! Like seriously, just give us Dino Crisis. Like, what is this? Dinosaurs falling out of the sky?
Well, what? Hang on. Dino Crisis is ridiculous, right? Dino Crisis is about time travel and a whole bunch of stupid garbage. Even Dino Crisis 3 is zombie dinosaurs in space, right? Yeah. So this totally fits into Dino Crisis. They even have that red-haired girl. So, and remember, the third Dino Crisis game was called Dino Stalker. A lot of people don't even know it's Dino Crisis. So maybe we're going to have the same thing going on here, or maybe Capcom is that out of touch.
Call me crazy, but when it came to Dino Crisis, I thought it was super, super overrated. Everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
The first one.
I didn't. I thought it was okay, but it was very straightforward, like Resident Evil clone with dinosaurs.
Yeah. It was a better Resident Evil.
I see. I didn't think so. I love Resident Evil. I think it was unique, original, and had an aura about it. Dino Crisis was just. I felt like I was going through the motions, and I feel like Dino Crisis suffers from the same problem where people have this nostalgia for it, and oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but Legend of Dragoon has the same issue where people are like, "Oh, bring back Legend of Dragoon," and I'm like, I hated that game the first time around. I don't want to play it again. I don't want to remake, and I feel like
that one too.
I feel like people get caught up in the nostalgia of these older games. They're like, "Oh, they're so great. We just need to bring them back." And I'm like, "No, we don't."
For me, it's about the story, right? Dragoon can stay where it is because that was all wrapped up on its own. It didn't need a sequel. I would like something like that or a follow-up from Sony. Dino Crisis, though, I want to see what happens next in the story because they really fell off the boat after the first one. Everything was kind of weird. So I'd like to see a real follow-up to the first one to really tie it all up. And this could do it. I just like dinosaurs and shooting them and call it Dino Crisis and I'll be happy.
Well, why is it going to be called Dino Crisis? That's the thing. Maybe they realized it was so off kilter that they needed to restart with a new series with dinosaurs. So why not?
Which I wonder why do dinosaurs then? It's Capcom. It's like if Capcom did another
because of what you just said. Do you forget what you just said? What did you just say? I want to shoot dinosaurs.
Yeah, but I want to shoot dinosaurs with a bit of a connection to the old one to kind of redeem where it went. I mean, I don't have to. It can be something completely new, but it's not like it'll ruin it for me. But it's like, it'd be nice.
Well, maybe there'll be like a memo at the beginning where you pick up a notebook and be like, "Hey, yeah, we're totally in the same universe. Anyways, here's the real game."
Yeah, you know what it is. I guarantee you what's going to happen. There's going to be Dino Crisis microtransactions where you're going to be able to purchase characters and weapons and skins and things as microtransactions. I can almost promise.
Yeah, you got to have a
Has Capcom done that yet? I don't think Capcom's done that yet.
So you know what I want to argue about, Sean? You and I were arguing yesterday about the new Kirby game coming out, and I am super excited for this new Kirby game. I played the demo all the way through. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Hold up. Me too. We got someone that didn't?
Sean thinks it's basically as good as a 3DS game and shouldn't be $60.
Bro, come on.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter.
No, there's a whole that's a whole different if you want to have a big conversation on that.
Yeah, I want to. Let's do it. We got time. Go ahead.
Do we? It's a conversation about price. Like, okay, what Aaron said, he mentioned something earlier that he doesn't care about the price of a game. He just wants to enjoy it. Well, me too. But when I go to a store, I do have budgets, right? And I'm not going to spend $500 on an Atari game or Atari level game, because there is levels of quality of games and the price should reflect that, right? If you buy this crappy B movie, it should be like $10-15. But if you buy a top-notch Disney movie brand new, sure, $25-30, right?
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, you bring up a really good point. This is something I was talking to one of my buddies about behind the scenes that I was considering making a video about if I had enough content for it. Without giving you my position, I'd be interested to hear what you say about this. Okay. Do you feel like the price of a game impacts the review score?
It shouldn't at all, actually. I think it does a lot for a lot of people because people well, you know about investing.
For you, I don't want to hear people. I want to hear you. Does it impact it for you?
No, I try to separate my objectivity and my subjectivity. It's very important. I think every reviewer is unique in how they review something. I keep my reviews to what I feel about the game specifically.
Okay. So let me throw you a wild card.
All right.
Say that we don't live on a world where we have the $60 to $70 accepted price point for games. Because, I mean, Aaron will tell you that the Gran Turismo 25 was, what was that, $100, right?
It was like 119 or something
Canadian. Yeah. So assuming it's not a special edition or whatever, we'll say, for example, a game that universally everyone's looking forward to, Zelda 2, Breath of the Wild 2. Say that Nintendo comes out and they're like, Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be $199.99.
Mm-hmm.
Would that impact your feeling of the review of the game when you paid $200 to buy it? Would you still give it the same exact score as you would if it was a $60 game?
I think I have an answer for that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so it wouldn't affect my score, but I sure as hell wouldn't buy it, so I wouldn't review it.
Here's the crazy thing. Ready? I would buy it because to me that is the value proposition that I'm like, that is worth that to me. I would pay that for it. And I'm like, I can't believe they're not taking advantage of people like me that would definitely do that.
See, and you're gonna get people. You're gonna get people on both sides of the fence with that. Like for me, I know that I value things that I pay more money for higher. If I pay $200 for a game, I'm damn well going to like it because I just spent that money, and I don't care whether it's good or bad. I'm going to like it because I got to represent my wallet. If I pay $10 for a game, I'm less likely to really give it the same level of attention as something that is super collectible or whatever. And that's probably wrong. Like, I probably shouldn't behave that way, but I do.
We shouldn't.
It brings up a fascinating psychological question, doesn't it? Like, it's something that people don't, because we're so used to just the norm. But when you throw something like that out there,
here, let's go this way. So I got a Wii U way back when, and it came with Super Mario 3D World, right? Super Mario 3D World. And I really liked that game. And I spent the full $80 to rebuy it on the Switch when it came with Bowser's Fury. That game was so fun for me. I found the value in that, right? Before I played Breath of the Wild, I didn't know it was going to be as good as it was. I still bought the full price because I really wanted to play it. And I know Zelda generally is good. If I did spend $200 a game or $15 on a game, I would feel disappointed. I would have feelings regarding that, but I'd be able to separate that from my review. Like when I got the orange box, I was annoyed that I had to spend so much money for the orange box. That's that Half-Life 2 collection that came out many years ago. I was like, why can't I just buy episode 2 like I want? Why do I have to get all this other garbage like Portal? Who wants that?
Oh, come on. Portal's like one of the greatest games in history, by the way. But go on.
People knew that when they bought it. No one knew that when they bought the orange box. That was just some garbage game that you played when you finished Half-Life 2, and then you played it. It's like, hey, this is the core of this is why you buy the orange box.
Surprise, bonus.
So Portal was free, but I love it more than games I spent $80 on, which is why I think Aaron's a little bit backwards on that, because I didn't pay for Portal, but that ranks as one of my top games ever, and I didn't pay a dime for it when you think about it, right?
That's a good point.
Where I could spend I did spend about $150 on Bucky O'Hare for NES, and I don't care that much for it, but I just really needed that game for a particular collection goal. So the price of games, I think, are way lower than they should be. although I don't want to pay more than they are. It's a weird kind of like a.
I'd agree with you. I would almost say that, and this is going to sound so capitalistic of me to say, but games should be priced based off of how much they cost to make and how good they are, and not just the standard of, oh, it's a AAA, it's $60.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
By the way, real quick too, sorry, before you guys go, because I'll let you talk. AMC Theaters is testing a new. Did you hear about this? They're testing a new package where they're charging more for movies in demand and less for movies that are not in demand to fill up the theaters equally. Like Batman is going to cost more than an indie film, but they're both at the same theater. So it's kind of like that. I could wonder if gaming, and this is, like I said, this is a video that I'm probably going to do, so spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Do you see gaming going down that direction? I think it's a fascinating.
Nintendo already doing it.
I've been banging that drum for literally years that games are, like AAA games especially, are too cheap, and this is why we see microtransactions and DLC and games launching completely broken, not ready, because games don't cost enough.
I just said I'm not going to interrupt you, and I just interrupted you. You know that gamers are cheap asses, and the companies know gamers are cheap asses, and they know that they, look at Pori. They know if they come out with Gran Turismo 7 for $99.99 for the core, not for the special edition, but for the core vanilla copy of it, that nobody's going to buy it outside of the hardcore fans, and they're going to
they'll sell 200,000 copies instead of 10 million.
Right, exactly. So the value proposition just isn't there to do that.
But it really sucks for most of us in the middle who want to buy a game that's completed and in good condition and actually good and ready to go.
Well, the other problem too, sorry, I keep interrupting. The competition ruins that. Like, I want to buy it, but I'm already playing this. And I'm like, why the hell would I spend $100 when the competition is there, $60 or $70, whatever it was, to get a game that I'm going to play? And I'm just like, I know they come down in price over time, so why the hell would I pay that on day one? Who cares?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, Nintendo seems to be able to maintain their launch prices forever on their first-party stuff, but everybody else
still the same.
By the way, this is going to piss a lot of people off. Nothing makes me happier than to see Nintendo hold their ground on pricing. Like, people are like so pissed off about it. I'm like, no, that's good. That's what it should be. That means the resale value is higher too, guys. If they just drop them like the number one violator of this rule is Ubisoft. Like, their game will come out $60, $70 day one, and 3 weeks later it'll be $20 on sale. Like, and that happens literally every time with every AAA title they release. I'm like, who buys Ubisoft on day one? You're an idiot. Don't ever buy Ubisoft games on day one.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
But they make money off it, though, right? But here's the thing:
people don't understand. They don't look at it and realize that this company does that all the time.
But see, here's the problem, though: is people will buy those games at a cheaper price, where other people are just going to wait and they're just going to, steal the Nintendo games down the line, right? It's not going to be very long before all of the Switch games are going to be hackable, and we're just going to play ROMs. Because the Switch games aren't super complicated.
But then you divert into a different path. You go to the pirate route and to the route of the value proposition. And yes, obviously there'll always be pirates, and that exists everywhere always. But the value of the games in the resale market, the secondhand trading and selling on eBay and Amazon and thrift stores and all that stuff, you'll always have the value of the game. Someone out there will always be paying it. It's like a stock. Like, you'll find a buyer for it. Always. It's never
Just wait until they don't sell games anymore and it's all going to be streaming like Netflix. They're going to do that, and no one's going to sell games ever again. And people will want it.
When do you see that happening, Sean?
I don't know when, but you know what? People told me I was crazy when I said people were going to embrace digital only gaming. And
It's happened a lot
they
faster
have.
than I thought too.
I
Yeah.
thought it was gonna happen sooner, but streaming's they're
I'm
already
100% digital on my Switch now.
they're already
I
grooming
have
us for it. Look,
literally like 4 physical
I'll tell you,
games.
Aaron, I'll tell you why I'm not. Is I have 2 Switches, and my son and I both play, and I will always be physical with it because it drives me insane that it checks to see if the other system is online to allow you to play the game, whereas if you have the physical, it just plays it. And this is the problem, it doesn't check if the other system is playing that game. It checks if the other is active.
Yeah.
So you can't play any games on that account while the other system is playing a game that's a download. Which is
I've separated my kids from me, so my kids have their own Switch, and I buy them mostly physical games. I buy physical games for them to give them.
You gotta buy the games twice then.
Well, we don't play the same games for the most part, and they don't live in my house, so they need the games with them anyway. So it's really like, for me personally, on my Switch that they don't touch, I just like the convenience of being able to filter through my games and just play what I want when I want. I do buy the occasional physical game that we're going to share. Like, I'm getting Kirby next week physically because I want to play it, but I know they're going to want to play it too, so I can just hand it off to them afterwards. And I'm getting Switch Sports for them for their birthdays next month or whatever it is, the end of this month. But yeah, for me personally, I'm all digital.
Yeah, I'm still.
And people call me crazy for saying people like you.
All physical.
So, Paige, how many Switch games have you got now, Paige? I remember Christmas time or something you showed a Switch collection video.
Yeah. I want to say late 40s or 50. Maybe? I haven't counted it for a bit. I counted it not that long ago, and I think I was at 40 something. I can check because I remember posting. I think in December I had 46. So I definitely have probably over 50 at this point.
Yeah, I had quite a few. I gave some to my kids. I gave a bunch to my kids, and then I sold quite a few and got really good money for them, to be honest.
And I'm not a collector. Like, if I don't like a game, it's gone.
Yeah,
so I don't care about owning.
The funny benefit of being a collector during hyperinflation is I have like 85% of the N64 games ever made. All stacked up next to me over there, and I'm like, I never play them ever. I love the N64. It's one of my favorite systems ever, but I can barely find time to play my Switch. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should sell my games. I'm like, I'm too lazy to do that. Like, people are like, oh my god, Switch game or N64 games are going through the roof in value, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll sell them. It's insanity.
N64 is really hot right now.
Yeah.
I don't personally know why. I have no connection to the system myself. I never had one, but yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia there, and the N64 is selling like hotcakes. Like, people are just.
I think it's just like a generational thing. Like and then you'll start to see like PS2 games. It keeps going. Where it was like, I think at one point Super Nintendo was like hot, and it's like, okay, now it's the N64, and then it'll bump up to something else. Already GameCube is insane.
Yeah,
there's already tons of expensive
stuff too. That's another one that I have a bunch of games for, and I'm like, I bought these because these games all mean something to me. Same with Super Nintendo. Like, I had Chrono Trigger, Super Metroid, Final Fantasy 3, Earthbound. I'm like, I'm never gonna sell those, and then I see these prices, and I'm like, god damn, it's really hard to not sell right now.
I just heard from Reggie. Apparently, he was indisposed. He's apparently going to be joining us here in a second, so we may run a little bit over time if somebody has to go.
Yeah, he just messaged me.
You're welcome
He's like,
to go.
What are you talking about? I was like, we're live, man. Hop on.
So we're gonna get into the a little bit of the Amico stuff here. I'm interested to hear Pauri's take and Sean's take a little bit, and like, I don't know if is the Amico something you were interested in, Paige?
No.
No,
not really. No, I don't think that would be something I would grab, or I don't know. I haven't really looked into it too much, but it's no.
I was casually interested. I thought it was a neat idea. You know, I figured I would probably buy one eventually when I could just pick one up at GameStop or something. I never pre-ordered or anything, but you know, it was kind of a nifty idea, and I had been following it closely, and a bunch of us smaller YouTubers have really hitched their wagons to this Amico train. Like a whole bunch of friends of mine, you know, I'm obviously not going to name any names, but like tons of people that we all know have hitched their wagons to this Amico thing, and Tommy Tallarico. And just, you know, recently over the last couple of weeks, things have really taken a turn for a worse. There's been a ton of drama and a ton of infighting and stuff between different camps in the community. So Reggie's just popping in. We'll say hi to him here in a second.
Oh,
hey, Reggie.
Hey, what's going on? Sorry about that. I was knocked out.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Man, that was crazy. How's everybody doing?
Not too bad, man. We were just kind of going through, talking about some pickups and some games we're excited about. I was just actually talking to Smash about jumping into the Amico thing, so good timing on you coming in here. We can kind of get dramatic before the end of the show.
The Amico, wow. Yeah, right on time. Okay. Yeah. My camera over here.
Reggie's like, I just want a shirt, man. Where do I get my shirt?
I know, right? Gosh, let me switch my screen over to this one so I have to look back like this. Golly. Oh, sorry. Man, I wish I prepared better. Let me see here.
All right. We hear your voice.
Right. We'll go a little bit longer. If anybody has to leave for whatever personal reasons, you can just wave and head out. But we'll stick around and shoot the proverbial shit with Reggie for a bit here.
All right.
What's your one swear of the show?
I said a swear. So yeah, what's going on with that Amico, man? It looks like it's dead in the water. Yeah, like you know, fill us in a little bit. You know, for those of us out there that don't really follow all this stuff, like what's going on with the Amico? Are we gonna see this come out ever? Like, is it a thing or what?
It ain't happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Yeah. I mean, the only I said this to some of my buddies too. Like, well, not that you guys aren't, but privately in DMs with some other people. I was just talking about it, and I'm just like, the only I welcome to be surprised and wrong, by the way. But the only feasible way I see this thing coming out is them filing bankruptcy and someone coming in, picking it up pennies on the dollar, losing all the debt that they have, and just publishing it and pushing it out there, manufacturing it. But the problem is still existing of, I think they overpromised and underdelivered on their ability with the chips and the rest of everything. And there's going to have to be, no matter who takes it on, they're going to have to be manufacturing these at a pretty substantial loss, no matter what. And that's a pretty tough pill to swallow when there's zero guarantee of any success given the landscape of competition right now. So feasibly, the only way I see it coming out is if somebody with stupid money comes in and does something stupid with it and is like, yeah, we're going to push this thing out. And I'm like, okay, but that's the only way. That's the only way it gets out. Otherwise, it's done.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, do you think the IPs will be available for sale if they do go? Like, will they sell the whole company, or do you think they'll start selling IPs off or licensing things? Or
when they file for bankruptcy, everything's on the table for people to pick at, like the carcass. So it's all going to be on the table.
So I can buy Shark. Let's go.
I mean, that's one of the things I was kind of like, man, I wish I saved my 10 grand that I invested and just bought one of the IPs. That would have been pretty cool.
You could own Earthworm Jim.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I could have owned Earthworm Jim, right? Shit. Oh, 2 swears now.
Yeah, I think.
Well, no, that's your one for the show. He gets one.
Oh, my one. Okay. Go ahead, Reggie.
Okay, good. I thought my mic was unplugged. I think
no,
when
we'll just ignore you.
Dude, I think like when the Kickstarter, last Kickstarter came out about they needed like $5 million. Dude, that was the sign right there. It was pretty much done. They're probably in a lot of trouble before that, dealing with a company. I think that they're dealing with some company overseas, and they stopped making the chips, and they offered them a different board, and then that board is more expensive, and they just kept going through all these crazy things. And I don't know, it's just I feel like they wanted it to come out, of course, but it's just bad luck, at the time they tried to release it. So
I want to believe that they had the best of intentions. Like I really want to believe they had the best of intentions.
I guarantee you. No, I know firsthand they had the best of intentions. I have no doubt in my mind. Like people are saying, "Oh, it's been a scam from day one." It's like no, like they paid, what was it, 1.1 million to ARC for the boards. And then they sent that to China, and China was like, "Yeah, no, we're gonna need more money," and they wanted another million. This is talking to Tommy. He said this to me, and this is where it gets sketchy because I'm like, ARC is a reputable company. They wouldn't just take someone's money and then be like, "Okay, we're holding it hostage, and we need you to pay up double now." Like they would lose a lot of their own pull in America if they did that to people. So I feel like there's a lot more to that story that Tommy didn't tell me, as far as maybe the boards that they wanted, they actually did to improve them potentially to work better with the games and make them flow without lag and skip or whatever. I don't know the details. I'm just saying, like, what transpired. There's some missing information with this deal, and Intellivision is out $1.1 million with no boards. And the company that was supposed to be manufacturing them is demanding another $1 million before they start production. And I don't know what transpired or why, but that's insane. And that's why it's been at a standstill. And this is a lot of speculation, by the way. This isn't like, oh, this is exactly what's happening. But this is, to me, why it's been at a standstill for so long, is they're not like going to be like, okay, sure, here's another, hold on, let me just get $1 million here. Like, that's a lot of money,
Yeah.
So they're at a standstill right now, and then they went to that Start Engine campaign to raise more money, and Tommy called me about it way back. Like I'm talking, probably we're talking like 8 months ago type thing for that Start Engine campaign. He called me and talked to me about it, and I'll tell you the first thing when he brought it up to me, I was like, no, don't, Tommy, do not do that, dude. And he's like, well, let me tell you why we're doing it. Let me tell you, like, this is going to bring in this and X, Y's. I'm like, Tommy, that flies in the face directly of what you've said is what you've sold this on. You can't do that. Like, that's going to be a horrible look. And he's like, well, we kind of have to because financially we're in a tough spot right now. And I was like, all right, but I just want you to know, to make it clear, I am definitely not on board with that. And that was our conversation. I mean, give or take a couple words, but that was the impression I definitely got across to him. And I made clear with him the most recent call I had with him when I confirmed that with him. I'm like, you remember I told you that was going to be a terrible idea, right? And he said, yes. And I go, I don't want to tell you I told you so, but you just derailed your entire company, and icing on top, cherry on top, you also divulged all the financial information to everybody about how screwed you are. Like, that's not a good look, man. Like that's bad. That's not good. Yeah. And now I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy because I'm just being real about it. Because people don't want to hear the truth. People just want to make empty promises still. It's like, you can't keep doing that. Stop it. Like, make the consoles. You got, what was it? They raised over $15 million over the course of the past 3 years. And their offices were quite lavish and fancy. And they had a lot of employees. And they worked really hard, not discrediting anybody. But holy crap, how can you not produce a single console out of this? Are you kidding me? I get it. Inflation and chip shortage and pandemic and every other excuse you could think of. But at the same time, it's like during that same period of time, the Evercade came out. The Playdate's still coming out. There was another one that came out. I can't remember the name of it right now, but there was VCS came out. But there was another one on top of that came out too, all during the pandemic. So while I get it, you got way more money than any of them, and you still were able to come out with this. So it's a really bad look, and it's not a knock on Tommy. It's a knock on his management skills, and I separate the two. He's a terrible manager. He's a terrible leader. I think he means well. I think he's a nice person, but I think he sucks at leading a company. And I don't mean that as a slight against him. Just some people are cut out for it, some people aren't. And
maybe he's like George Lucas, where he has really great ideas, but you need someone else to put them out there.
Yes. And that was the problem with Tommy. He'd always have these dreams of these grandiose plans of everything. And I'd often find myself reeling him back in. Like, bro, you can't just keep promising the world to people. You got to be real about what you can produce here. You know? But he's a marketer. He can. What's the Tommy Boy slogan? The ketchup popsicle and white gloves. He could sell anything, man.
He sold me on until quickest turn.
Yeah, that's
Oh, that's me.
Hey, so since you're here, Reggie, we kind of went through our recent pickups, and you do pickups once in a while. Some other guy once in a while. Have you done any recent pickups you haven't told anyone else about yet?
I was actually working on one today. That's why I fell asleep earlier. I was like, man, what the heck?
Hey, I gotta hop off. Not to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt. I gotta hop off. My wife got back from work. Kids are going crazy. She needs help. I gotta leave.
All right,
man. Thanks so much for being on tonight. It was great having you.
But Reggie can take my place now that he's here, right, Reggie?
There you go.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys. Much love as always, and have a great night. All right.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
I'll see you.
I mean, we are running towards the end of the show here. We're actually running a little bit over time, but Reggie, man, tell me some of your what you picked up recently that you're willing to share to the 27 people that are watching this.
Sneak peek, insider.
Yeah. Wow, dude. I can go grab some stuff real quick, but I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm thinking that I'm like only 20 minutes late. I'm like over an hour late. And I didn't realize. I'm like, dude, what the heck, man? So sorry, guys. I just was trying to get a video out tomorrow, and I just freaking took a nap and just overslept. I'm like,
yeah, it happens, man.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
but
called
I can go
being
grab some
fashionably late.
Oh yeah.
Let's take a 2-minute break. You go grab your stuff, and then we'll talk for another 10-15 minutes here, and then wrap it up.
You guys good with that? Everybody's cool?
Yeah. I need to go to the washroom anyway, if you need to know that.
All right.
Nerd Grave.
All right.
Right. We are back. Reggie's apparently got some games to show us and stuff. So take it away, Reggie.
Yeah. I picked up Kirby Planet Robobot for 3DS.
Great game.
I had it a couple of years ago, but I got rid of it because I wasn't playing it fast enough. So I said, you know what, I'm probably not going to like this game. So when I was at this convention recently, decided to pick it up because it was cheap. I think he was selling it for like $30. So I was like, all right, I'll try it. I'm ready to try it out now. So you guys are saying it's good. So I'm glad to hear that.
The 3DS is absolutely littered, like ad nauseum littered with 2D platformers. There's so many of them, but that one really stands above. Like, it's really, really top notch. Probably the best platformer on the system, other than Mario 3D World or Land.
Oh, wow. I was hoping to get put on the Switch, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to stay exclusive to the 3DS. So. Yeah, glad I was able to find it because the only guy that had it there, he had it hidden pretty much. So I barely found it. I had to dig through some stuff. So that was really cool. I got this is the one that was kind of crazy. I got this for $10. Battletoads Double Dragon for Genesis.
Oh, that's a score.
I have Super Nintendo.
You know what's funny about this one? Because it said $10 on it. Everybody assumed that it was just a case. So they pick it up and they looked at it and they put it back down. It was there for like until the last day, and I picked it up and I there was a game in it. So a lot of people were picking it up, not even noticing there was a game inside of it. You know, they just saw the price and assumed it was a cover. So
yeah,
it's good enough. It's fun.
And this is from the Portland swap meet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Reggie put up a video. Did you put up your swap meet video yet, or is that what you're making now?
That was the one I was making now. I was going to put it up tomorrow. Yeah. And
I saw Jason's video. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Mine's going to be similar to that, but of course I'm adding pickups to it, so I don't have to talk about the stuff later. So that's the hard part to get out of the video, like capturing the pickup footage, and then So that's going to be in here. But yeah, Battletoads Double Dragon. The next one here is this weird game. It was like $5 a Tornado for DS.
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
I'd only seen it. Oh really? Well,
maybe.
Well, I think this one's exclusive to the DS because you have to use the stylus. You have to like make tornadoes and stuff like that. And yeah. I know what game you're talking about though. It's like kind of like I thought it was like a prequel to it or something like that. Yeah. Tornado something. I don't.
Jack or something maybe. I have it.
Do you have it? But it's kind of it's a pretty cool game that I never heard of. So I was trying it out, but yeah, it's a lot of stylus control. So if you don't like using the stylus that much, it's not the game for you, obviously. But it's very interactive, I say, because it kind of keeps you involved. You got to create tornadoes, make a super tornado, and then tear stuff down. So it's pretty cool.
It might be a hot take, but I really love DS games that are stylus heavy. Like one of my favorite Zelda games is Phantom Hourglass. I just love that game, the way it plays. Oh, really? Just love it.
Wow, that one I'm kind of like the opposite with it because I don't know. Like I wish there was the option to choose between the two. They didn't force you to do just one type of control scheme. But
I don't know. I've always liked gimmicky control schemes and stuff like that. I love the Wii. I love just things that are just different that way. Like I don't know, the stylus controls on a lot of games just seemed really innovative and was like bridging the gap between mobile games and console games in a way that just seems interesting. Going back to it now, it just seems kind of interesting to learn a new control scheme for something. I like it.
Yeah, right on. This one came today, so I haven't opened it yet. This is the Cruel King and the Great Hero.
That looks really cool.
Yeah. Cool. This came in this nice box and everything like that. So it has a toy inside of it, I'm guessing. So yeah,
I've seen a couple people post about that. I know nothing about it. What kind of game is it?
It's an RPG, turn-based, old school type, but it looks like a storybook. So
okay,
it looks really neat.
Yeah, if you played games like what's that other one called, The Blind Prince and the Cruel Princess, I think it's called. I can't remember. But it's very similar to that one though. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's out for the Switch too. I obviously got the PS4 version because that's the main console I'll play it on. I got this a couple weeks ago. This is a Fishing Star World Tour because it's a fishing rod, so like you're fishing and everything like that.
Speed.
Give me controls.
There you go. So, Aaron, you like this, but yeah, it's this one's another cool one. I come to find out this has been out like 3 years now, and I didn't even know about it.
Me neither.
Yeah, and they did this fishing company in America, just start like making the rod for it and bundling it together. So yeah, I just went ahead and picked it up, and it's actually pretty fun. What kind of really makes this game stand out from other fishing games, like the beautiful environments you're fishing on, pretty much, and this is really it's really good looking. So I wanted to pick this one up because you can't find it in stores. It's like an Amazon exclusive through that other store. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get that. And lastly, I got this. I don't know how people feel. Well, no, this is not the last item. I have one more after this one. I got Lock and Chase while I was at the Portland show.
I love that game.
No.
So
Nice.
Great.
Move over to Pac-Man. You got Lock and Chase in there. Yeah. So that was kind of nice to find this in the box. You guys know how I feel about Game Boy games. You got to find them in their boxes if I can. And
yeah, you're always talking about how many boxed games do you have right now, do you think?
For the regular Game Boy, probably like maybe 30. And then Game Boy Color, maybe around the same amount. But for the Game Boy Advance, I think I have over 120.
Wow.
Somewhere around that. Ooh. So I was like, yeah, that's a lot. But I got a lot of that stuff before everybody was looking for it. So it was like extremely cheap. Like nobody wanted it. So Now
That's how
I
you
couldn't
do it.
imagine trying to do it. You know, I'd be like, no way, emulation. But in the last item here, Evercade versus.
Oh, I've been interested to check that out. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So I'm gonna try this out, and I'm gonna probably do a video later about it and everything like that. So I'm pretty much updated on my Evercade stuff.
What I love about the Evercade is if you put 2 cartridges in at once, you can often unlock a bonus game or other little secrets. Yeah, because you can put 2 cartridges in at once, can't you? In the Evercade.
Yeah, you can. I haven't opened it yet because it's still sealed. But yeah,
there's 2 cartridge slots. And you'll unlock bonus games often by having compatible cartridges. Like, say you have like Volume 1 of,
cool.
say, Activision Volume 2. You put them both in, like, oh, here's 3 more games for you. I don't know if that's
a good way to get people to buy more games too.
Yeah, really, I do it.
Right on, but yeah, I'm just excited about this. I really like the Evercade. I don't know how a lot of other people feel about the portable, but I liked it, and
I like the idea.
I want one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, that is pretty much all the ones I could show now, I guess, because I don't know how you guys feel, because like I said, I'm late, so I don't feel like I should show much stuff, man.
You know what I'm super curious about with the last few minutes we have? I'd love to go around and find out what everybody's interested in buying, what you're going to be picking up in the next couple of months. What's the next game that you're really looking for? Why don't we start with Paige?
All right. My big thing is new Mario Kart tracks on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Very excited about that. I'm like, give me all of that. It's like one of my favorite games of all time.
When they announced that DLC, that's actually when I jumped in and bought the game. I didn't have it before, and I figured, okay, I'm already paying for the expansion pass, so I'm already getting all this DLC for free. I might as well buy the damn game.
Yeah, like that's a game like I bought again on Switch because we put so many hours into it on the Wii U, and then it was like, okay, whatever. I want to keep playing it on the console we have set up, and then now they have that. It's like fantastic. I'm down. And then Kirby. Yeah. I probably will end up getting. I don't know if it's a day one, just because I'm playing stuff and it's not like it's gonna be hard to find, so I don't need to grab it day one. But I will. The demo I thought was great.
You played the demo?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, I know that demo was fantastic.
This demo was really solid, impressed. And I've never gotten into Kirby before. I don't know why, but it was just not a Nintendo franchise I ever got into. But I'm hooked from the demo, so I'm definitely.
Sean was saying it doesn't look the greatest on his TV. I played it.
I only played it handheld. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so I don't know.
Interesting. Like I played it on my OLED, and it looks fantastic. Like just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I thought it looked great. Like, I'm definitely buying it 100%. And then, that's probably within the next couple months, because anything I'm really hyped for is maybe not till June, July. I don't know. So that's fine by me, because I have too many things to play. So I'm good.
What's the deal with Square lately? They're just pumping out all kinds of stuff. Anybody interested in some of the stuff that's coming this year, like Live Alive, for example?
Yes.
That's the one I'm interested in.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked with that. Yeah. You know, I'm a little disappointed. I mean, I understand the current political situation, but I'm a little disappointed about Advance Wars being delayed. I was so looking forward to playing that game. I don't know. I mean,
I feel like that was a gimmick that you're kind of using. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say that, but it's like, man, like why delay it? It's just has nothing to do with what's going on. So I feel like they're doing it for kind of to get it more popular because of that. You know,
maybe.
Yeah.
Could be.
I don't know. There's been a lot of discussion about it on Twitter and stuff, and some people are
pretty,
hard on one side or hard on the other politically, like, but I don't know. It's just a game, man. It's just a game.
Yeah.
To play.
What about Front Mission? Anybody interested in Front Mission?
A little bit, yeah. Because I wish they had, and the number 2 is coming too, so that'd be nice to me because I have 3, 4, and Evolved, so having 1 and 2 would be good. I have 1 on Super Famicom, but
I played whichever one it was on the PS1. Which one was that?
3.
I played that one and I enjoyed it, but I mean, I don't think any of us have really played 1 and 2, have we? Were they not Japan only?
They were.
Yeah, so that's kind of neat.
DS re-release, I believe.
DS, you said?
I think they released it once on the DS. I think.
Yeah, the DS was, I believe, the PlayStation version.
Was it? I thought it was a re-release of the original.
Maybe it was. I could totally be wrong. I didn't get into the series like that. But yeah, I mean, I think if they change the graphics for it, I think more people will be interested in it. It'll have a fresh coat of paint. So, yeah.
Corey, I know you're pretty thrifty, but is there anything real big that's hitting your radar in the next couple of months?
Well, here's the thing. I have such a giant backlog. I have 130 Switch games at this point, and I've probably beaten about 50 of them. And so I want to kind of catch up on that before I go crazy and buy more Switch games. So pretty much my game buying at the moment is just if I find something cool at the thrift store or the flea market. That said, I'll make an exception for Kirby and the Mario Kart tracks for now.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of excitement for Nintendo. I've been really pounding on my PS4 and PS5 collection now because I've gone pretty much mostly digital on the Switch at this point. And I've been trading games in to get the better quote-unquote versions. So I've replaced a ton of my Switch games with PS4 games and stuff. And one of them that I didn't mention earlier when I was talking about my pickups is my time at Porsche. This game is on the Switch, and when I played it, apparently there's been a new update recently, but this game played like absolute garbage on the Switch, and it's so bad because I really want to love this game. It's really cool. It's up my alley. A lot of crafting and building and stuff like that. I really enjoy this game, but it ran so poorly that I just couldn't play it. Graphical glitches and stuff phasing in and out, your character sinking into the ground and all kinds of stuff. But I picked up the PS4 copy of this just a couple of days ago, got it installed, and it does run a lot better on the PS4. So I'm pretty excited to dive into this kind of in-between sessions with Gran Turismo 7. And then just today, I picked up Elden Ring. I'm not a big FromSoft guy, but everybody's been talking about this game. So I mentioned earlier in the show, Reggie, I traded a couple of Pokemon games because I'm really not a big Pokemon fan. So I basically got this just in trade at my local GameStop. I do so much business at my local GameStop that I was recently upgraded to the Onyx subscription at GameStop, which means I get an extra 50% on all my trade-ins all the time, 7 days a week. So when I traded in Pokemon, the regular price for Pokemon Arceus was $33, but I got $47 or something in trade.
That's good.
On it. And so I traded in 2 Pokemon games, and that basically paid for Elden Ring plus, so that was cool.
Yeah.
If I ever got rid of my games, that would be a good deal for me. But
yeah,
I hoard my games.
So I think we're running towards the end of the show. It is midnight my time. I think it's getting. I mean, you guys are various degrees of out west, so it's not as late for you. But
just a little after 10.
I'm starting. Yeah. I'm starting to shudder a yawn here. So. Well, thanks so much, guys, for coming on. Paige, it was great to have you. I know you didn't really get to talk too much between Sean and Smash, motor racing or whatever, but we'd love to have you back on again when we talk about a specific topic.
Sure.
And Reggie, let's try next week.
Yeah, I'll be ready.
We'll have an actual topic next week. This week we just kind of wanted to chill, relax, So.
Oh, there's one game I'm looking forward to that's coming out. Just want to let you guys know.
Oh, go ahead.
Favorite game of all time right now, Road 96 for PS4 and PS5. It's finally happened. So
yeah,
pick it up, man.
I'm really excited. That's. One of the only physical Switch games that I still have, and I'll never sell it because it's an absolute just masterpiece. It's a banger. I love it. So I will double dip and pick it up on the PS4 for sure. Or the PS. You said it's coming on PS5?
Yeah, PS5 too.
Do you know if there's any graphical enhancements for PS5?
I think it's more of a cash grab, for put it on PS5 because it doesn't really need to be on there, but it's there. So
I mean,
it'll probably run a lot better.
It's a beautiful looking game anyway. The art style is fantastic.
Yeah.
What is it again?
If you haven't played Road 96, guys, check it out. Paige, I think you would love it too.
Yeah.
Actually,
because I was going to say I actually don't know much about it. So.
Oh yeah, you should definitely look at the trailer
Paige
for it.
About the game.
It's about teenage hitchhikers that are trying to get out of the state, and I can't tell you why because that's where the story comes in.
Okay.
But it's multiple teens that you get to play as, and you go through their experience of what they go through, where they've hitchhiked, catch the bus, they deal with crazy people. It's pretty insane. It's awesome.
It's called Road 96.
Road 96.
All right.
It's a very interactive visual novel. I know you like visual novels. That does sound
pretty cool. Yeah.
It's a visual novel with a lot of interaction. Like
that's
you do
my
get
thing,
to walk
because I've done a few visual
around.
novels lately that have been more like just text only, and it's. I'm iffy, but if it's like I like the Telltale stuff.
Oh,
like that kind of amount of interaction.
The thing about Road 96 that really caught me is it has a really deep 90s vibe. Like
I'm pretty sold.
As soon as you turn this game on, the music, the color schemes, the clothes the characters are wearing and everything, it's just like, it feels like you're transported back to, for me, being like 17 again or something. Like, it's got a great 90s vibe.
Well, I'm there.
Right on.
And it's pretty cheap too. I think you can pick it up on the Switch for about $40 on Amazon.
Okay.
Canadian.
Okay, I'm definitely going to be looking this up.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is definitely like no one's
It's
ever
flown under the radar.
Never...
Reggie and I have talked about it several times.
Okay.
It's like it's fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic.
It sounds awesome.
Right on.
I think we're pretty much gonna call it a night here. So thank you guys so much for coming on, sticking around for a little bit of extra time. I'm going to try to get this episode up by Saturday so that everybody can enjoy it. So we will we'll catch you around the interwebs. Just before we go, where can we find everybody? Give out your links, your YouTube, your Twitter, whatever you want. Paige?
Okay, YouTube, I'm Femtrooper, and then on Instagram and Twitter, I'm the Femtrooper. I don't know why that happened that way, but yeah, I'm very active on Twitter, like daily. So
yeah, me too. That's where we met.
Talk to me. You can talk to me on Twitter easily.
And you do have a Discord server that's pretty active too, talking about gaming with parents and stuff. Shout out your Discord server there.
Yeah, my Discord server is like it's just for gamer parents. So if you have a kid, you can come in. But it's kind of like, I don't know. But it's just a thing so that you can kind of like vent about your kid or anything, but also talk about games and movies and geek stuff. And so it's been cool. It's been cool because you can sometimes, I feel like if you don't have kids, then people are like, I don't really get it, but everybody in there seems to get it. And everybody has kids of different ages in there too, which is cool.
I usually drop links in the description for everybody's contact information on the YouTube version. But Hori, where can we find you?
If you want to watch the dumbest retro videos on the internet, you can find me at Dippyegg, www.dippyegg.xyz, because I got myself a vanity URL because it's easier to promote that way. And if you like stupid retro videos, you can find me there, and then you can find me at Porinog on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram.
And Sean?
Electronic Emotions Program on YouTube. There's more other things, but they're not active enough to really mention at this particular point in time. Whoa, cat. The cat just caused
and
earthquake.
Reggie, obviously your channel and your contact info.
Yeah, Radical Reggie YouTube, or I think the official Radical Reggie Instagram, and then Radical Reggie 1 on Twitter. I couldn't. I gotta look at the name. It's the same, but yeah, Radical Reggie. You should be able to find me on Twitter if you want to look at my tweets or chat. So yeah.
And of course, if you type Nerd Crave into a Google search or into YouTube, you will find something of me there. I'm very active on Twitter. For some reason, I can't figure out how to change my Twitter handle, so it is still NerdMovie1 on Twitter instead of Nerd Crave, because that's just, hung over from 12 or 13 years ago when I started on Twitter. I probably should create a an official page or something at some point. But yeah, and then Nerd Crave Collectors Group on Facebook. Look it up. There's lots of buying and selling and video links from different creators and stuff in there. So definitely join that community. Check it out. Anyways, guys, thanks so much, and we will see you in the next episode.